Good morning, beautiful people of the internet, and welcome back to another Super Sunday Spectacular special. I am joined, as always, we'll do a random order this time. Mr. Piotr Ruznek, my business partner, he gets to go first. We normally leave him to last. We have the Brain of Britain, future Chancellor of the Exchequer, Mr. Adam Lawrence. We have the first fully tanned Scotsman, Mr. Ross Harper. And we have the indelible Helen Chorley. And of course, I'm Jay Howard. We are going to endeavour to keep it rather light this week. I think last week got a little bit heavy, and we're in the kind of climate now where trying to keep things light isn't very easy. So we're going to talk about some triviality. Where do we start with some triviality? Should we keep it away from politics and economics? Should we talk about ourselves a little bit? Should we invite anyone who's watching at the moment to post one thing about themselves that they don't think anyone else knows that they think is interesting? And if we're going to get them to do that, maybe we should do it too. We should start, I think, as we started with the introductions, we should start with Mr. Ruznek. Piotr, tell us something about yourself.
Jay, how generous of you to start with me.
Remember, we know some of the things because we've done this before, so you have to think up something new.
That's
nobody knows about you.
I have to pick up something new. That is okay. So it'll be challenging because I'm pretty open about most of the things, and the most unusual things we know about. I mean, pretty much for I think everyone just meeting me for the first time. For them, it's enough of a surprise that I'm an MMA fighter. And, but yeah, we've gone into those territories. You guys know that I've done meditation, 10-day silent silent meditation retreat, dance 5 rhythms. What's more unusual about me?
How long were you a vegetarian for, Piotr? How long were you a vegetarian for?
I was a vegetarian I was vegetarian for 5 years, and then I started eating fish. So I was 5-year vegetarian, another 5-year pescatarian.
So did you just see a fish and think, I quite fancy that?
No, it all comes always from reading some book or reading some article. And I started eating meat like in September when I went to a wedding in Poland. And I was like, that beef looks good.
Whoa.
And then it all started. And I think since then I've eaten way too many animals.
Got 10 years to catch up on. I think that's something not many. I think a lot of people knew that you were a vegetarian, or at least a pesky vegetarian.
Yeah.
But now fall back into the meats.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, and I'm not an MMA fighter, so just so you know, not planning to start again. Okay, well, so I nominate Ross. Perhaps that's a way to go. So you guys that follow Ross will have a tough time.
Do you think before Ross starts, we should sing happy birthday to him?
Oh,
yep.
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Happy
birthday to you.
Happy
birthday
to
This is the worst song ever.
Happy birthday, dear Ross. This went well.
Happy birthday to you. Hey!
Thank you so much. That's very kind. That's nearly as good a rendering as when we were on stage with Ranjan and he made us sing Christmas carols. It's the most uncomfortable.
If anyone wants to see it, still got the video. So that's all
it's the most uncomfortable I've ever felt in my life until now.
Wow.
They say there's no such thing as bad publicity, but that video proves otherwise.
I'll mention my birthday first. So thank you to everybody who sent messages. That was really cool. It was very touching, very nice. And my staff put together quite a moving video of lots of different people. It was really cool as well. So it was nice to have that. Obviously, Alexander, he's 6 now. So he really gets it. And his birthday's 2 days before mine. So he really gets all the action now. It's all about him. He thought it was his birthday for about a week. So it's all been quite good. And obviously, it's quite lucky. But everybody that found out I was 50 is like going, "Wow, you don't look 50. That's unbelievable. Nobody'd think you're 50." So it's great. They're proper friends, Adam. And
I saw the video, Ross, so I know that most of that is a lie. So
that's very unfair. Don't know. All good. So things that people don't know about me. I'm 50. And I suppose the most bizarre thing, and I have shared this once before, so Piotr will know this and Adam will know this, that I can't straighten my arms.
You can't.
Can't straighten my arms.
Why?
So I don't know how easy it is to see, but let's see if we can do this. That's my arm straight.
Oh, that's so bizarre.
That's it, straight, completely straight. I can't go any further. Adam's tried to push it down. He's trying to get it flat to the floor.
Yeah, we're all of us are like.
Yeah. So
when I found out, I was like, "You've got to be the arm wrestling champion of Scotland fairly quickly, surely, because it's just impossible to finish."
Simple. Adam made Rod hold me down, and he tried to break it by pushing it down. Surely it does. You're lying, Ross. You're lying. But I wasn't for once.
That's not true.
So that is my claim to fame that most people won't know. Nobody believes it either when you tell them. But I've had it since I was born, so I've got no idea what it's all about. I should maybe have got it checked out. But it stopped my badminton career, my golf career quite quickly.
Oh.
So do I get to nominate who's next?
Yes.
I think since Helen's the most visible person on the internet ever, especially this week, having been in Mexico, I think we should nominate her next.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah, I've been long on social media this week because we were recording series 4 of Property Elevator. And what don't you know about me? So I think a lot of people know, like, I had a dancing career when I was younger, but not many people know that I actually danced with the Bolshoi Ballet once. It's quite nice. That's like a humble brag, isn't it? Sorry. But...
Just a brag.
Yeah, so that was really quite cool. And I really wanted to be a dancer, but my mum said no and sent me off to Oxford University. Not forgiven her for that, but I have worked out quite well. So
you had a few options, basically. Dancing at Oxford University.
I know. I might choose the other one if I had my time again, but there we go.
I think Adam did the same, didn't he?
Look good in a tutu.
It is Sunday.
Yeah.
I could stand up and reveal that I'm actually wearing pants or something like that, but I'm not. So there we go.
After today's post, Adam, we all thought you were standing.
Wow.
Oh.
It's often the people who have like about 3/4 of an inch in height on me that make the most comments. That's all I'm saying. Don't hear this from Rod when I'm talking to his elbow, do you? Hey?
Got his belt buckle.
Go on then, Adam. Over to you.
I'm trying to think. We're doing this, after I've just written about 50,000 words, complete brain dump of most of my childhood. So there's not an awful lot left that there isn't necessarily known, I don't think. But one of the things I left out was when I didn't learn to drive till I was 27. And that was partially to do with the fact that I wasn't particularly trustworthy when I was 17 and 18. And then partially to do with the fact that I went to Switzerland and didn't need to drive for a few years. So I learned to drive first when I came back. And I bought my first car at an auction. And I did pretty much what I've done beyond that as well. I went and found someone who knew about cars because I know next to nothing. And asked him what his price was to come to an auction with me. And it was breakfast before the auction. So that was a reasonable tariff, of course. So we went to BCA, just off the M6 near Sutton Coldfield. No idea what I really wanted, no idea about anything like that. And snagged an old gold Rover 25, which was a beautiful effort. BMW, naturally, BMV, but there was money down, unfortunately. So you can't have it all. You can't have it all. But that car served me well. So I've fired the rest of my bullets. If anybody wants a bit of bedtime reading tonight, there's 2 to 3 hours worth on the UK Property World Facebook group. Help yourselves with all of that. But basically, in summary, I was bullied at school by people like Ross, and I came into the wider world to get bullied in professional work by people like Ross. I didn't really know anything about anything, and yeah, I've done a few things that most people would consider relatively non-vanilla when it comes to my career path, if that's what you'd even attempt to call it. But I think that's enough, really. I think we should go on to the one and only, the one and very only, and with a backstory that is not safe for work, Jay Howard.
It's difficult because I too on All About Property. I did a UK Property World. I did the intro to the experts. So I've already done a bit of a mind dump on that as well. But something I don't actually think I've mentioned before is that I applied to join the army.
Stay people might be watching.
I'm gonna keep it PG-13. Yeah, definitely. I applied to join the army. I was in the Army Cadets. I was 205 Parachute Regiment out of Wembley. So I did that as a teenager, and I thought I was struggling. If no one knows my degree history, is I was really struggling to find something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life that I enjoyed. So I started off in psychology, did classics, did law, and it got to a point where I was quite physically fit and healthy. I had full head. I was gorgeous at one point in my life. Maybe about 3 years of my life, I was semi-attractive. No, stop it, Helen. But and basically, I thought, well, I'll join the army. So I applied. I passed the physical. The second time, not the first time, because the first time they found out I had a heart murmur, which I still don't know what a heart murmur is, but I passed the second time. And then you have to do an IQ test. And the idea was I'd either go into the Royal Artillery, because I like the idea of firing massive guns. It's why I don't do refurbishments. I'm not allowed around power tools. All right, I'm an absolute idiot when it. I something like I'd run around the house like a bloody idiot. Or military police. So I got my the papers to say that I could join. I was told that I would have to go to Lichfield, which is there was an army base there for training, and I had 2 weeks to accept and join. And on the 13th day, I cancelled and I started my law degree. Wow. So that's something. Almost joined the army.
And what age were you when you did your first degree?
I started when I was 11.
I still just love that.
I was reading Adam's post. Adam, what did you achieve when you were 6 years old? What was that? Where did that come from?
I got a full scholarship to an independent school, and the bit in there with the funny bit was at the end of the paper. It's my first proper memory, and the last question was draw a picture of a mouse. Now there were no amusing pictures of a mouse like that these days, right? It was a mouse, and I'm a horrific artiste, and I was utterly convinced. Because it was obviously the last thing on the paper. I left just distraught, thinking I've screwed this up because I can't draw. And I wish there was a photo or a copy somewhere of that mouse because it's pretty horrific. But it didn't put them off, thankfully, and I still managed to slide in under the bar somehow and get in. So it's fantastic. I'm still no better at drawing, however, Pictionary. I'm effective. I would describe myself as, competitive and effective, but not good. Not good.
What did your mouse look like?
Well, I'm not sure we had colouring pencils and things like that either. So I might have done some shading and probably maybe.
We had those massive Crayola. You're not that much younger than me. We had those massive Crayola sets. Do you remember with the gold? And I used to get one every Christmas just for the gold crayon. Oh, it was the best. And they did have silver and bronze, but the gold was the best.
Of course. Of course.
I wasn't interested in the other 97 colours, just those 3.
So it was funny because that was the last year that school still had borders. So I was that close to a school that had borders, and there was still, so it was all very sort of antique mahogany, and a very clear memory of going up these stone steps up to the examination room and sitting down and doing whatever was necessary, and obviously managed to get it done.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah,
But my Bolshoi career never took off, unfortunately. I mean, you know.
Neither did mine.
Well, now we know where we get the name Adam Twinkletoes Lawrence. You know, it's all coming out in the wash.
Talking of things coming out in the wash, Jay, I heard. Sorry, I didn't hear. I read something that said you admitted to being a semi-professional pool player.
I basically, yeah. Well,
which I think Sue, if she'd been slightly harsher, could have called you on out a lot more than that.
Well, let's set this straight, because I'm not competitive, but I'm not going to let this slide. Okay.
Well, I think Jay didn't have much chance playing with a handicap like me. So,
yeah, but I think from memory, Piotr, you got most of the points, and I was there.
Oh,
remember?
Wow!
No.
I what I really think happened, and God bless Sue for this, is that she was quadrupling our shots and giving you 2 singles. Sue knows where her bread is buttered.
we just butter and we drink more than you. That's all it came down to. There was no foul play at all.
No, you know what? Actually, I it was a really good. That was a really good evening. I'll give you that. That was a really good evening. And aside from the drag effect from Piotr, actually, there were some really good shots played. Most of them were mine, but there were some.
Are we going to get a demo of this next Friday at Pip London?
Is there a pool table there? Because I'll play.
Oh, there must be. We'll find one.
There isn't at the Dickens, but we'll have to find one, yeah, for sure.
Well, that place we were at wasn't far away from it, was it?
No, not too
I don't
far.
remember.
I think I might be mixing my nights up, actually.
No, I think you might be right. I think you might be right. Maybe.
It's King's Cross, not too far away. So
you were saying, Jay, there, sorry to bring it back to this, but your excuse was you thought Sue was lubricating you more than everybody else to get you drunk so that we won. Was that your suggestion here?
No, what I'm suggesting is that Sue was getting you quadruples, right? Because as is your want, but somehow the glasses got mixed up in delivery, and purely accidentally, I ended up totaled. Which isn't the first time hanging out with you two, FYI, that I've been totaled. Complete. I mean, how many?
Sunday morning at 10:25. This is not appropriate, Jay.
How many pints did we have followed by whiskey chasers? Which, FYI, is inhumane to someone who doesn't.
One thing that no one knows about Jay is that he can survive the whole night of a party with one small bottle of beer. It will just nurse it all the way in.
Yeah, I'm a savor the flavor kind of guy. I don't neck anything. I'm diligent. All right, that's what you can take from that lesson.
Ross and I more follow the cash the check and break the neck philosophy, or ankle.
Yeah, either one.
I mean, if we're going to go down this route, the world famous book launch of the Before the Hammer Falls. I mean, couple of worthwhile things on that night.
Yeah. I seem to remember I had an awkward drive home the next day. That's for sure.
Well,
and you had to use the world's largest Uber.
The Uber driver was relatively understanding, and then the M4 managed to make it back up the road, didn't it? I think
the police didn't worry too much. Yeah.
It
Yes,
was-
I broke my ankle at Piotr J's book launch. It's one of my proudest moments.
It's one of
I
our
think
proudest moments as well.
I
That's why
remember
Lisa doesn't let
that
him out with
moment.
us very often.
Wasn't ideal. I was never allowed out to another book launch again by Lisa. Never invited either, funnily enough.
It's not a major catastrophe. That book launch is off the list as well. There we go.
Well, I did. Do you remember the post I did about that book launch? That hasn't aged well. Maybe we're keeping it too light today. I don't know. I think we've tripped. I think we tripped over to a different. Oh wow!
Dimension. If I do often think if I ever invented a time machine, I'd go back because I wasn't at said event. It's before I came popular with the in crowd with you guys. But I'd go back and I would go back to that party. Sounds like I missed out on a great night.
I think if these stories and those posts prove anything, Helen, we are definitely not the in crowd.
You're my tribe. That's what
We're
counts.
still wondering why you hang around with us, if we're all honest with ourselves. So, that's the bottom line.
I thought it was care in the community. I thought she was getting brownie points for 4 of us at the same time.
Says the man I had to piggyback down the stairs that night. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god, you guys.
You're only young once.
Yeah.
Well, indeed.
Speaking of young, who did we get a shot of, Ross?
That
Was it
was
a Ninja
Alexander
Turtle?
dressed as the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, the Incredible
Going off to a
Hulk.
party. Yeah. So I had warned them. I'm sitting downstairs today, and I had warned them: do not make a noise. Don't do this. Don't do that. And then he came round to the window and tapped the window, dressed as the Incredible Hulk.
Love it.
We've got matching outfits. I can't fit.
Oh, we need a picture of that. You can't put that out.
Gee, I'm joking. I am actually
Okay.
joking.
Well, now you need to get.
I need to get one.
Yeah, now it needs to happen.
We sent Voldemort and Willy Wonka and Mr. Strong to school this week in World Book Day, so that was pretty fab. That was pretty fab.
They look like great outfits as well. Joe must have put in a power of work.
She sure did. Yeah. Amazing.
Adam, not so much.
How do you know I didn't? That's what I was going to say. How dare you?
But I think earlier on you said you couldn't draw anything, and your mouse looked rubbish. So your wife's hardly likely to trust you. With the
As
kids'
always,
outfits.
too clever, Mr. Harper. As always,
They did look fab. They're also getting big.
they were unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
Nice. And Dominic is asking about some kind of therapy expertise amongst your achievements, Jay. Something we even don't know about?
I'm struggling to figure out which one Mr. Ormond is talking about here, because there's maybe one that is really not suitable for a PG.
That's the one we're definitely talking about. That's the one we're talking about.
PG-13. I don't think I could just.
You've done a lot of stuff, Jay, but you've never.
It doesn't happen too often.
You've never sat on the British Board of Film Classification. That much is for sure.
His headphones on.
Oh, thank you, Dominic. This is epic. I love it.
I think I just outed
Wow.
myself a little bit on a
Wow.
live stream. Oh Lord.
Piotr, do you not know what this is, and are you worried?
I have no idea what Mr. Ormond Royd is talking about. I plead the fifth.
It looks like you don't have no idea.
Dear. This is why I don't play poker. Look at that. You see that poker face?
Yeah, keep on with cool, man.
Perhaps therapy is some kind of horrific autocorrect incident, Jay. That's what it might be.
Oh dear. Oh wow. Oh.
But nobody else speak unless just make it really, really awkward for Jay just now.
Come on, Baldy.
Oh wow. Oh dear. Perfect. So who here has dated a model?
Before we go on to that, Jay, what there was somebody had asked a question. There was a really good question earlier.
Was it? I honestly, I can't even think what he could be referring to. But
Maybe Dominic could let us know.
I imagine if he's not written it out in words, he's probably scared to do so.
So was Dominic the cameraman? That's the only thing I was going to ask.
Oh wow! And
This is how Ross does a deal, right? He gets on top of you until you submit. This is it. This is the dripping tap, and then suddenly the knees over the shoulders, and then the ground and pound.
Wait, I blacked out there. What are we talking about?
Should never have given him the way out there, should I?
Yeah. And I'm the one with the smutty mouth, am I? Between the bunch of you, this is terrible.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
We haven't said anything. You've just been giggling like a 17-year-old schoolgirl. What's going on? A bald 17-year-old schoolgirl.
I dare you to find a schoolgirl with a beard like this. This is pure quality. This is thick and luscious. If only it didn't fall off the top of my head.
Great deflector.
You're welcome. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Shall we just let people know actually where they can read all these amazing, wonderful insights?
I think we can put a couple of the links into the video chat, because we should be able to take them from UK Property World as post links.
All those posts are pinned on the groups on that Facebook.
Yeah, so if you're not a member of UK Property World, then what's wrong with you? You should be.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna post the link on this on the comments, and
But only read when you've got time to actually read it. You can't read these in 5 minutes.
No,
there
and get ready to pick your jaw up off the floor.
Yeah, and you need like an hour processing time per post.
And it got really kind of personal. Quite a couple of the people on there, the experts, really have kind of like shared, not just like, oh, this is like I did this or I do that. It's kind of like it was a lot of like almost intimate style stuff, and there was no real brevity in it. People just shared openly, and I think that's to be applauded. That was really nice to see.
Maybe that's the therapy.
That's it. There you go. My therapy is sharing.
Well, that was part of the problem, as I understand it. But anyway, look, oops. Lorraine Calorie commented on mine saying she thought it must have been quite cathartic writing it, and it really was actually. Yeah, it was quite cool. It was quite cool.
As I pointed out, though, I must have been to 20 McDonald's on numerous nights out and lots of whiskey drinking in the wee small hours of the morning to learn all that information. And you just shared it on the internet, just like that. Boom.
I'm pretty sure there's a few more things you know that maybe not in that post, Mr. Harper.
I have no idea. I can't remember.
That's the idea of the whiskey, I guess. That's all good.
Absolutely. There was one thing you posted about that was quite relevant for me this week. So on Friday morning, it was Alexander's Sports Day. And so he's 6. He's going into I don't know what the primaries are here, but I think he goes into primary 1 this coming year, because the Scottish system's half and half. So we held him back a year, if you like. So his group is called FS2. And there are 12 classes of about 20 kids. And they did Sports Day. And it was absolutely spectacularly run. It was a superhero sports day. So all the staff were all dressed up. The rugby coach came as the Hulk and all that kind of stuff. So it was really quite cool. And the kids all dressed up as well. Alexander went as the Flash. And of course, I'm looking at all it was 10 different sets of obstacles that were set up around what was a hockey pitch, and the parents got to stand around the outside to watch, which was great. And it was really good because it's the first time we've been able to not have masks. They've released outside mask wearing here, so we were able to stand outside. You could actually meet people and talk to them. It was quite nice from that point of view. But to go back to your post today, #NotCompetitive, I'm like, how's this going to work? Who's holding the string at the end so that when they run through, you know who's won? You know, it's all that stuff. And they're like, no, it's not competitive. do you mean it's not competitive? I won the pillow fight in primary one. I still remember it. It was important. Even it's not competitive, and that's how they did all the sports. It was to showcase their talents. It's really good, so that people didn't win and people didn't lose. And there were two
Ross,
trophies.
what better way to showcase your talents than by beating everybody else into the ground? I don't understand. Sorry, I can't compute.
So I came straight home. Alexander won the flat race by an absolute mile. He overtook everybody. It was great. Twice. So I came home, phoned his papa, and I'm like, he won the flat race twice, don't worry, it's fine. So it's not competitive, but was still ultimately utterly competitive.
Of course it was.
I mean, sports without competition is highlighting your desire for mediocrity, isn't it?
It's like therapy without disclosure.
Yeah,
Pretty
absolutely.
much, yeah.
Are we going back to that?
But no, we're not.
So so that's what I thought to begin with. But actually, to be fair, when you see his class, he's one of the older ones. He's not the oldest by a year, but they're all at massively different levels and stages. And some are local, some don't speak English that well. There were 4 poles they had to run round, and some had no idea of what direction to run, never mind weaving in and out the 4 poles. So actually, to be fair, but halfway through it, I went from as I think Adam would be, and that was what I was laughing about, the #not competitive thing. I went from being competitive dad to seeing it was actually pretty inclusive and everybody got involved. And they did give 2 prizes away, but they were given away for the people who'd helped the most and been the most fun, and it wasn't about who'd run the fastest or done all these different things. So it was actually quite a good thing. Imagine you can learn things when you're 50. It was just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Got ages to go yet, so I'm not worried.
I'm just imagining like a pip day like that in the summer.
Yeah.
Obstacles, all dressed up as superheroes.
So could we not do it as a
Ross had an
knockout?
amazing idea a while back for something we should do, which maybe we should revisit, Ross, on in terms of so it can be #not competitive as well, but just the social event style thing, maybe with a charity element or something as well. I think we should do that.
Like a property quiz or something like that, where you everyone on their own table does,
Do you want to reveal the inner workings of your genius marketing mind, Ross, or should we?
No, I can't remember it. So you better tell them.
You can remember it.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh.
We were talking about playing Monopoly.
Oh no!
Oh, that's not a sport. Come on.
Oh, it is a sport. It does get competitive,
As much as
but
Scrabble is.
you can't.
So that's slightly different.
Wow.
The thing with that was, I was thinking you could do, when you do the mastermind tables at the end of the PIP event, you could actually have a Monopoly cards table. We play Monopoly cards at home. Lisa beats me like 900 games to 5. It's not that easy for me, and but it's the same idea, but it's much quicker than Monopoly. And I was saying, as opposed to having to listen to boring people wax on about property and stuff, you could have a Monopoly cards table and people could go and do that instead.
Yeah.
I give Adam 6 minutes and 23 seconds to learn how to count the cards, how to stack the deck, and how to destroy everyone within a 500 mile radius.
No. The great news about this is his kids can beat him. I've witnessed this.
Oh wow!
Uh-huh.
You just got outed.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's painful to watch.
Mate,
It doesn't matter how good you are.
As a father, there's no prouder moment than your eldest son hammering you in a game of Monopoly. Believe me.
And as his friend, there's no better
Just hold
moment
him
than
up
seeing
like Simba.
Adam weep when it happened. I'm sure it was tears of joy.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Emotion. Outpouring of emotion. But yeah, Monopoly deal's so cool because if you it only takes what 20 minutes to play, Ross, or something like that.
Yeah,
probably.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's super cool. That's a good point. If you look up what a juice deck is, if you don't already know, then I may start preparing my first Monopoly deal juice deck. It's basically a deck of cards where you've effectively marked them, but you can't see the markings unless you. It's a bit like those 3D puzzles that got really popular years ago, where you kind of take your eyes out of focus and you have to.
Yes.
See that's what a juice deck is like. So if you're ever playing cards with someone who's wearing sunglasses, it might not just be to hide their reactions. It might be because they're using a juice deck. So little tip from the top there.
little ultraviolet marker, and then
So if you see
the,
Adam sitting like this,
It's more like this.
yeah.
trying to look like a Mexican.
No, you've got to be halfway between about to sneezing. That's how you do it. So
Yeah.
that's how you get there. Yeah, it's the mid sneeze. It's the mid sneeze look you need.
Piotr's gonna have to prep his juice deck. Look.
Now we're talking about it. He's doing it. That's typical.
Yeah.
Typical.
That is Piotr, though. Yeah, Piotr doesn't sit around and wait.
He's a
He's
doer.
already doing
He's a
it.
doer.
Yeah.
He's a doer. I had a great call with some. It was a whole group of ladies actually at a crowdfunding platform this week, and they communally call themselves the Get Shit Done team. I'm like, I just loved that. We had
The GSD crew.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, they were a great group of ladies.
Good stuff.
What has happened to Piotr?
This
You know-
live's now going to go on for like 4 or 5 hours because he's not here to end it. That'll be quite.
Yeah.
Just rein us in.
We'll
Well, he-
finally
he-
get round to the therapy point, and then it'll all go off. Jay will
Right.
claim a power cut or something like that.
Yeah. Oh no, my house is going through a tunnel. Oh no.
There was another post this week that I thought was very funny. It was actually incredibly funny, which was, I don't know if anybody's seen it, the Andrew Binstock one from Auction
Oh,
House
yeah,
London.
yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
awesome.
About, and he said that somebody had logged into his system and put in Roman Abramovich's details to try and sell Chelsea BMV to somebody. I thought it was absolutely spectacular.
Awesome.
Hasn't happened yet though, has it?
No, I haven't seen them list it yet. No. Not to mention, I mean, I don't know how long that. Well, no. See, now we're moving into realms of it gets serious from that topic. I think start talking about that amount of Russian money being tied up in an asset in the UK, and it's gonna take a turn. It's gonna take a negative turn.
Well, it would be interesting to know how much when you were at Auction House, how much you saw that was Russian versus other denominations, Jay.
This is true. I mean, the other thing is, not many people may or may not know this, but Andrew Binstock is a diehard Chelsea fan. So for him to get the chance to sell Stamford Bridge, I think he would be over the moon.
Sale and lease back, or
Yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, I mean, you could operate the hotel, and it would still be still get a decent ROI on that. The
very
hotel.
true.
The team shops, yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily.
Would you and Piotr be up for buying a wall?
Yeah, I mean, we could start a collection, couldn't we, Piotr? We already own one in Chelsea.
Yeah, portfolio of walls would be a nice thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Portfolio of walls, also known as a house. Yeah.
yeah. We just need three more. Three more, and we've got a house, Piotr. Three more.
Like a
Well, you need a roof as well.
Oh fuck, we need a
Yeah.
roof as well. All right.
That's
Well,
like building a hotel in Monopoly. You get four
Yeah.
houses and you got the
You got a hotel, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So basically, this is like a touchstone education program in like 5 minutes, isn't it? Get a wall, get another 3 walls, get 4 houses. Get
Who's got the card machine?
yeah.
oh
I don't think it is, because I think they've already learned more, Ross. But let's leave it there, otherwise it's going to descend into.
and it's costless. For Touchstone, add any other education provider. Sorry, just I don't want to.
yeah, but touching on our wall in Chelsea, we're just waiting for an appeal to this council's decision to not to give us permission to put adverts on there. Which is absolutely stupid because they didn't even seem to read the application. So, fingers crossed.
Considering it's been an advertising wall for about 100 and something years, you
Yeah.
kind of, it's in keeping. But yeah, it's we put in the first one, and it was probably a little bit cheeky on size. So we resized it, and then they refused it on the same grounds as the first one. It was too big, and we're like, this is like a third of the size. So yeah,
Could you just ask what size would be acceptable?
Oh,
Well,
they
yeah,
wouldn't
they-
say something like that.
No.
That's
They're-
way too committal.
Yeah, they wouldn't get as many fees if they told you exactly what they wanted.
Hopefully they're not watching this just now.
No, I think Hammersmith Council is asleep most of the week, so on Sunday.
Not to mention there is a plan B that kind of undercuts any requirements from them. So it depends on how they can do it the nice way, or we have to be creative.
You'll send the boys round. Guerrilla marketing.
Oh, this is good.
We're lighting up Banksy to do a little thingy there. So this whole wall is being renamed as an NFT jungle, and basically it's going to be an outdoor NFT gallery that's going to be painted in there. And because painting of the wall doesn't need permissions, it's a permitted development as long as you don't put like directions on it or kind of what do you call it? Yeah, exactly. Kind of signs like this to direct people to something. Then it's a permitted development. So there's either going to be a pink wall in Chelsea, or give us a permission.
So see the NFT wall. What NFTs are you getting on it?
Well, we've got a couple, and we may lease out some space to other people.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it's kind of whoever came up with that idea is an absolute genius. But it was, I think it's really interesting. Yeah.
Humble brag 2 of the day.
But no, the whole outside gallery thing is really interesting.
Yeah, and it's not too dissimilar to this website. I think there was a website called $1 million website, and basically had like 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, and you could basically buy each pixel, and then buying that pixel would get you advertising in there. But if you want something serious, then you have to like 100 pixels and then 100 more, and like so. This is going to be a NFT version of that website.
Brilliant.
And NFTs you want to put them there, Ross? While the offers.
I've got 9,500 NFTs.
Whoa!
Already.
But 6 weeks ago, I didn't know what they were.
Oh my god!
Once I've stopped collecting them, I'll tell you what they are. I've got a wee plan. But it's like I have that compulsive disorder that once I think something's a good idea, I'm all in. So, but you can.
They don't call him .com for nothing, I tell you.
Don't call me .com at all, considering I didn't have a computer 6 months ago. That's what I was laughing at when you said that it might be Ross's computer that's causing the crackling noise. I'm like, wow, computers can do that. Incredible. So I tend to get involved with things. So I bought I think I was saying before, last year I bought private number plates it's probably 18 months ago, but most of them are 10x in value. It's been incredible. So if you'd really known what to do, you could have made an absolute fortune out of it. It's the same with private number plates, watches. I owned a watch I sold at Christmas time, and I think it started off, it was new 60,000. So these are flat prices. I know that it's a luxury watch. I'm not saying so. It was brand new 60,000 in 2012, and when they launched it, it wasn't worth 60,000 in the market. So it quite quickly went to 30,000 in second hand. So I know a guy that bought 4 of them in 2014 or 2015 for 30. They're currently sitting at £145,000. So he's 5 times his money. Albeit he's had them for a wee while, but he's quite wealthy, so he didn't need to sell them. But it just shows there's such a flight to these kind of items that can transfer quickly, and I think NFTs are the next thing. This is the way it's all going. So you can sell tickets to anything with an NFT, and that gives you automatic rights of entry to all the people who buy them, but it also gives those people extra things that might make them want to be here. I.e., if you bought your walls NFT, if you did an NFT of your wall and sold 100 of them, you'd be given the right to advertise to 100 people over and over and over again. So you might have 10,000 property people bidding for those because they want to be in your wall, because you'll be advertising them on this show or your course or things that they couldn't get access to normally.
Otherwise.
And you start to see it's just endless, the opportunities. The only problem is you get immersed in that whole thing.
Hmm.
You might come out the other end pixelated, Ross. Being integrated into Web3.
All right, so that doesn't mean I look like a pixie. Is that what you're saying?
No, you don't want to be. You don't want to be a pixie. No, that could.
It'd be called Meta Ross.
Meta Ross, I like that.
Sounds like a hell of a supervillain, doesn't it?
Well, it just-
Meta Ross.
Would it look like Thor with my face on it?
No.
Yes.
Oh. Amazing. Well,
Matt's done a good comment. Have you seen Matt's comment?
What's right? The nice upbeat session.
No, the
Oh, then.
alternative investment session. I reacted to I think a post either by Rod or Quasi or someone like that, and they were talking about alternative investments, and I think maybe it was Rod on he interviewed Quasi, and I told them all of the alternative investments that I have, and a lot of them are really esoteric.
Right, let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
What we've got 8 minutes left. Should we want to do it now?
Show us, Jay. Show us.
Show us. I've got.
We've got 14 minutes left according to my clock, but I'm in Dubai, so it might be different.
Oh, okay. Well, so I started off. I was a collector of Pokemon cards. So I have a first edition, all evolved shiny 1-to-1 151 original Pokemon cards that are kept in plastic and
Hermetically sealed containers.
hermetically sealed, not been touched
You
by human
jammy
hands
bastard.
since the print. So they're sitting there. I also have a first edition of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I don't think they're anywhere near as good. And I've got a smattering of Magic the Gathering cards. And I'd say about 15 or 20 of those are quite valuable, and the rest are just I built a little juiced deck, and in trading cards, juiced means that you put in more power cards and you put in origin cards and things like that a little bit, and nowhere near as exciting, Adam. Sorry. I invest in fossils.
Ooh.
So
Ross
we
is
have.
50.
I'd invest in you, Ross. I'd invest in you. If Adam won't, it'll be me.
Good.
So,
I take it you're going to underwrite me.
if there's a chance for arbitrage, I'll take it. I invest in meteorites. So, I mean, the fossils, we have about 50 fossils. And meteorites, I've got 3 or 4 meteorites that are quite
What
rare.
defines when does a rock become a meteorite? Just out of interest.
When it's
Maybe when
crashed
it's
into the
space.
earth.
Yeah, when it comes from space. My friend took me along. She was buying one for her husband at an auction at Christie's a few years ago and took me along. I'm not sure what value I added at all. I think it was just moral support. Oh my God, these things were just phenomenal and phenomenally expensive.
Yes, I bought a couple of mine from Christie's auctions. But it's there are some that just unbelievable. So sometimes it's the rare trace element materials that you can find in the meteorites that adds the value. There was a meteorite that I bought where it had crashed into a village or something like that a couple of 100 years ago and was contributed to the death of about 60 something people. So sometimes the historical significance.
Light-hearted.
We lasted 55 minutes.
I tried.
That's the therapy.
It's a new world record. No, joking. And well, I'm trying to think what else. I've got some artwork, which I used to work. One of the directors I used to work for sold me some artwork. And basically, the amount I paid for the artwork was basically the value of the frames that the art was in. These are really nice, like expensive frames. So I thought, well, the artwork is essentially free.
Is this a couple of early Adam Lawrence's?
Is this when you buy a commercial property and the flat above is worth what you pay for the whole building, sort of thing? Shopping uppers. The old ones are the best.
If it's not broke, don't try and fix it. You know, I could reframe those pictures and sell the frames, and I'd be quids in. I used to, when I worked in the family trust, although I worked in the real estate section, there was a classic car collection, there was a watch collection, there was bloodstock, which is obviously horses, the GGs. But there was a little bit of everything. So I tend to go for things that are like very, very limited edition. And aren't likely to be repeated again. So one of my favorite authors in recent years, I've started reading fiction and science fiction mainly. He's just broken the record for a funding launch. I can't remember which website he used for a set of books. And basically, if you buy in, so I invested into that. The GoFundMe thing, I think it is. He glitched it. He did a YouTube video about a week ago saying, I thought I'd come on here and tell my fans I'm really very sorry. I can't believe I've been lying to everyone, blah, blah, blah. In lockdown, I've written 4 new books, and people have just gone nuts because he's kind of, he said these are all the books that are coming out, and people have been waiting to download them on Audible or whatever. He's raised something like 22 million in like a week. And I think I got in when there was about 8 million raised. But he's going to send out limited edition packages of these books. And I've already said to the wife, look, I've invested in it. It's a couple £100 plus the postage, which is another couple £100. But I said, we're never opening this. Like, whatever seal it comes in is not being broken. And like, this really winds her up because in our garage, we've got a collection of DVDs, normal DVDs before anyone goes crazy. And I had to jump in there really quick, which is not my flavour. But is that
the title of the first one? Or
yeah. Isn't that like The Office, the name of your sex tape or whatever? Anyway, but I like to buy box sets. So we've got a box set of like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. We've got I like murder shows, like TV shows, like Murder She Wrote, Columbo, anything Sherlock Holmes.
Quincy?
I love a bit of Quincy. Medical examiner extraordinaire, lives on a boat. You can't go wrong. Anyway, every time she gets me the box set of a series, like they're not making Columbo anymore. So one Christmas, I opened up and it was a box set of Columbo, and I looked really sad. And she goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "I haven't got this box set." And she goes, "I know." She goes, "Open up that box." And the second box was one that I could open. So I've got an unopened box.
Oh, that's good.
Because she knows I'm just like weird. I'm like, because she knows I won't open. Like if I only get one copy of the thing, I'm not going to open it. I was like, no, it's too rare. So I kind of, I did a post recently. I think it was last week. It was a rare genetic disorder like week or something like that. And I was talking about, you know, what I classify as something as being rare. And I think, you know, there's so much value that you can attribute to something where it's a limited number, or there's a limited appreciation, or people don't see the value of it yet, and that makes its value scarce rather than the foundation of it being scarce. I invest in anything that sometimes will or mostly won't make me any money.
So I heard, have you not invested in horses as well?
Oh,
yes. Well,
you don't sound quite as excited about that.
Oh no, I'm over the moon. This is that. Here's the thing. About 3 months ago, we had 3. One that my wife was looking after whilst her friend was in the final throes of pregnancy, entering into labour, and was going to look after the horse for 6 months to a year afterwards. And then we had 2, but one she was sharing with another lady. So we basically sold our half to the other lady of the horse because they lived too far apart, my wife and the person who shared. So it was one of them wasn't getting enough or something like that. So all done properly and fairly. So we don't have G anymore, and the one that we had needed probably to go to someone who was younger and smaller in stature, because it was a small pony. So really, the pony was getting bored and would have probably done better if there was a younger rider that would enjoy taking it to pony clubs and a gymkhana and all that kind of stuff. So at the moment, we are horseless. But I don't
look at the opportunity there.
I know. I don't expect that to last too long, in fairness. Yeah. So, and my wife's just, she's moved from one, she stepped back from her trading company doing equine canine physiotherapy and things like that. She now works for an equine company that provides food, nutrition, and equipment and stuff like that. And she's really enjoying that. And yeah, so that's kind of changed. But I still have a dog and a cat, a wife and a child. That's enough for the moment, I think, for us.
You don't really invest in them, though, do you? It's not enough.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
You
do.
obviously know nothing about net present value. My
Yes,
friend.
you
Come
do.
off it. Come off it.
Every day is an investment in improving your living standards. And
Okay.
if you have the right kind of woman and a lovely child and a dog that doesn't shut up, then that all adds to the pot.
I think what Ross meant is you don't really trade them, which is
Oh no,
more-
you don't. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, but you do invest in them as they invest in you, and
Oh.
doesn't not necessarily monetary in currency.
Well, this is almost a sermon now, isn't it? This is lovely.
We need Piotr Halo back. Piotr, show us the
I'm-
Halo.
I'm just distracting for another 4 minutes.
Yeah, pretty
It makes
much
my-
at
it
11
makes
o'clock.
my pinball machine
internet
and my
connection today is super
my-
bad for some.
Oh,
oh, Piotr's in and out.
So, yeah, Adam's got pinball machines. This is a great story, actually.
Have you?
I had no
Cool.
idea. I had no idea until he took me in there, got me really drunk one night, takes me in, and I'm like, what is this? And he says, come play this. I'm like, what's he talking about? And then we're playing pinball, which is another pub sport I've never played. Obviously.
And another pub sport I have played extensively. Yeah, absolutely. That was
Uh-huh.
good fun. Good fun.
So
Always
it's
good to
one
beat
shot
Ross
each.
Tommy.
I went first, lasted 17 seconds. I was impressed. Adam, 4 hours and 15 minutes later, I'm at 87 million. I'm near my record. He's kicking the table and he's slapping the side of it. It's got quite a low power to weight ratio, so you can shift the table quite well as well.
you must have very good finger muscles. Oh, sorry.
Helen.
No, that's what you class it.
Yes, that's exactly the movement everybody uses. Wow.
Very, very occasionally there are no words from me, and this is one of those times.
I mean,
Oh, God.
I expect it from Howard. I expect it from Harper. But from Chorley, it's a blind side. That's
see,
all I'll
next
say.
week, can we go back to politics and economics?
Yeah. Yeah, clearly light-hearted when I'm not being the smutty one is a bad look for everybody involved.
That's what I was just thinking. No, my friend used to play
Piotr, can you
one
shut
of
this down, please?
computer games. He used to play like FIFA. I don't know. I don't even know what it's called. But one of the computer games where it was like the Summer Olympics, exactly. And he could move his fingers like this because he used to play Daley Thompson high jump, and he could move his fingers like his eyes couldn't focus because he could move his fingers so quickly playing Daley Thompson, because you had to do that to make Daley Thompson run. And
Yeah,
I
but
was
you had
just
to do it like
thinking,
that.
oh, I bet you could
Not
do
like
that. All I was thinking. And now she doth protest too much, so I'll just stop there.
She does protest too much. Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
Before we say anything else, let's finish this broadcast for today. Yeah, I think it was great to do a little bit of a light-hearted one today. And yeah, if you guys watching have any suggestions for next week chats, yeah, we might not do a comedy every week, but we'll do our best. Yeah, anything else to add, guys, before we finish?
I'm away
next
to
week-
lift some finger weights, so I'll see you guys later.
So next week, I think we should start with the G chatting about how you invest in all those weird and wonderful things he was talking about. That was incredible. We didn't get round to that. Obviously, Helen threw us off the scent slightly.
So what? So alternative investments next week?
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Do it.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.
See you next week, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.